What is up, everybody? It is the Saints Hub back with another video, and today I will be covering first of the many undrafted free agents we have signed. So I'm gonna make this into like a series. So this is gonna be episode 1 because there's so many undrafted free agents, and I have a lot to say about them. So it's gonna be hard to cover them all in one video. So I'm gonna do it probably daily. I'm gonna try. But I do have schoolwork. But let's get into it. The New Orleans Saints have signed Marquez Callaway, a Tennessee wide receiver, and Calvin Throckmorton, Oregon offensive lineman. Let's start off by talking about Marquez Callaway. Marquez Callaway is 6'1", 205 pounds, and had a 5.83 grade. His stats for the Tennessee Volunteers, I believe the Volunteer, I may be wrong, is 30 receptions, 635 yards, and 6 TDs with a 21.2 average, so he's a very good deep threat. He also had the fourth best punt return average with 13.6 yards, and to go with 3 punt return touchdowns. I believe that's in his career. Yeah, that's in his career that he had that, which shows he provides excellent special teams value to this team. Unfortunately, we do have one of the best punt returners in the NFL in the assumption undrafted free agent, Deontay Harris. Callaway's 365 deep receiving yards ranked 4th among all SEC wide receivers in 2019. So he is a deep threat, but he's not the fastest guy out there. And I know you guys are looking at these stats and are like, 635 yards, 6 TDs. But let me put this in perspective, though, and why I think he has so much potential. He's never had a decent fucking quarterback. His QB1, I didn't write down the names because I'm not throwing shade. 59% completion, 2,158 yards, 16 TDs, and 8 touchdowns. QB2, 46.7 completion, 541 yards, 2 TDs, and 5 interceptions. His quarterbacks were shit. Like, let's be honest. I mean, they went 18 and 13 in total. I mean, he caught 6 of the 18. That's not bad at all. And he wasn't their wide receiver 1. And I don't think the yards is pretty bad for their best QB having about 2,158. So I think Marquez did what he could with the talent surrounded by him, and I think he really would have benefited from a better quarterback. Let's read his NFL overview provided by us by NFL.com. One-trick prospect with field-stretching ability to work on the third level, but lacking the route savvy and consistent competitiveness to get open underneath. Tape can be frustrating as Callaway simply doesn't play to his speed often enough and operates with a sense of lethargy at times. Lethargy means like he looks tired, if you didn't know. He's a natural pass catcher with plus ball skills and offers punt return value, but he must improve his routes and prove he can be more than an occasional deep ball threat if he wants to hold an NFL job. So, I guess what that would say is he really only is one-trick pony, and that's throw him the deep ball. And I would agree from what I've watched and heard that he really only can run a deep ball route. He needs to improve route running, and I think we have a veteran wide receiver in Emmanuel Sanders who can definitely help him out there. We have Michael Thomas, who's also an insane route runner, who can help him out there. And I don't know don't quote me on this, but Alvin might have played with him. I don't think so. I don't think that's physically possible unless he was a freshman. But I know he was redshirted a year because his coach was an absolute idiot and played him for 1 snap or something. But I think we have the tools to fix his route running mistakes. But I do think he provides a great deep ball. Now, how much we're going to use that deep ball, I don't know because, as I hate to say it, Drew's arm is declining. But the thing is, he provides, once again, as I said earlier, excellent special teams value. It's just a thing, will we use that because we have Deontay Harris, who is one of the best in the league. Callaway excites me a lot. I think the potential is there. But I have to be honest, I'm not 100% sure he can make these improvements in time to join the roster. Now, I know there's a lot of the roster spots, I think, it increased. So that is good because I'm excited for Callaway. I think he can be a great wide receiver, and I think there is a lot of potential there. I just don't know if he can get there quick enough for the Saints to keep him on the roster, if that makes sense. And I'm very excited. I would love to see him run routes with Drew Brees and an actual quarterback. I mean, I think he put up pretty decent stats for what he was given with, and I think there's a lot of potential for Marquez Callaway. And let's get into our next guy. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to go over his pros and cons. Excuse me. Adequate size, speed as these are his pros. Excuse me. Adequate size, speed as an outside receiver. Agility and foot quickness to stem and slide pass press. Vertical glider who can eat into cushions. Adequate ball tracker skills with above average ball skills. Hands are sudden and soft. Makes challenging mid-air adjustments to catch. Long arms and elevation to rise and secure 50-50 throws. Force 2 downfield interference penalties against Alabama. I don't know. I guess that's okay. Dangerous punt return with 3 career touchdowns. Yeah. What the pros are saying is what I'm saying. He's great downfield. He gets up and makes contested catches on the deep ball. Is basically what I have been saying. But let's go with his cons. Too many feast or famine box scores, needs to play faster and do less coasting. Route running doesn't manipulate the coverage. Not enough speed variance to separate on intermediate routes. Slow to gather and open on comebacks. Rarely beats tight coverage underneath. Route tree has limited branch development. Too easily crowded against the boundary. Now, I'm not going to go over those that much because I feel like I've talked a lot about Callaway. I've talked about him for like 6 minutes and 40 seconds. But to sum it up, basically what they're saying is he's a one-trick pony. He can really only go downfield. He doesn't have the route running skills to do medium or short routes. He can just... He's not the fastest guy. He can't always break corners is what they're trying to say. But when he does get downfield, he's a very effective wide receiver, which is why he only had 30 receptions. But once again, his quarterbacks were absolute dog shit. I mean, like I said, I feel like we can develop him into a really solid wide receiver, or maybe wide receiver 3 or 4, but I don't know how much opportunity he'll have, and he definitely provides great special team value. Now, as my throat dries, Calvin Throckmorton, the 6'5", 317-pound offensive lineman out of Oregon. So far, I've looked into like 3 or 4 of the people we've signed because it does take a lot to do these. Calvin's probably my favorite just because I think he can actually make the team and make an impact right away. Throckmorton is one of the most versatile offensive linemen in the country. As the 3rd-team Associated Press All-American, he started 12 games at right tackle and 2 at center. I talked about him earlier in one of my other videos. I don't have the exact statistic, but through 2,000-something snaps, he didn't allow a single sack. I don't know how this man went undrafted. He should have at least, from what I gathered from mock drafts, and he was projected a 6th round, and we got him as an undrafted free agent, and we're probably paying him like $110K, which is an absolute steal. That shows extreme patience and just grit from our front office to not trade up in the 7th round, like if they were interested. Because here's the thing, right as the draft ended, we called Marquez Callaway. And then 20 minutes later, we called Calvin Throckmorton. So it showed great patience by our front office to get him on a savvy deal. Now, there's not a lot of stats for offensive... Actually, there's 0 stats for offensive linemen. So I have really nothing to give you guys except for that one little statistic, which I think shows a lot. But I can give you his NFL overview. He's a well-bit tackle to guard prospect with very good core strength and displacement power in his upper body. The problem for Throckmorton, for all his contact balance and diligence to play under control. His lower body stiffness and lack of functional quickness, I don't know what that word is, permeates? I swear to you, I'm going to college, okay? His play in both the run and pass and will be much more pronounced on an NFL offensive line. The technique and quality of play is draft worthy. We got him as an undrafted free agent. But physical limitations might make him no better than a replaceable backup. Yeah, so from what I've seen, he his lower body sucks. He's got the strength, he's got everything else. He had a great bench reps. I think it was 23. His lower body sucks, and that's fixable. I really think it is. I don't know if I don't know exactly what you do in that situation, if he needs to shed weight or if he just needs to build up leg muscle, but that's really fixable because all you got to do is put him in a weight room. I mean, it's probably harder than that, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like it's really fixable. And the thing about Throckmorton is, I think he's so good, or I think he has the most potential to stay on the roster, because I think that although his legs may not be the best, he already has showed that he's good at what he does. And I think if I was the New Orleans Saints, I'd cut Nick Easton right away. One, it saves money, and two, Throckmorton has a higher ceiling than Nick Easton, and I think he can come in and play a couple snaps and fill in for if a guy's injured. I think Patrick Omame played I hope I'm saying that right. Played really well, and that's kind of the role I envision for Throckmorton. If someone gets injured, he comes in and maybe plays like 1 or 2 games, a couple snaps. But I think there's a strong potential for Calvin Throckmorton. Let's go over his pros and cons. He's a 4-year starter on a decorated offensive line. Smart and tough. Very smart according to scouts. I said, sorry, strong and tough, not smart and tough. Strong and tough. Starting experience at guard, tackle, and center. Understands physical limitation and plays with good body efficiency. Uses choppy, controlled steps and climb to second level. Absorbs contact and maintains his balance. Smart angles to linebackers help mitigate lack of foot speed. Upper body strength discloses edge setters. Like I said, he's got the upper body. He just needs to work on the lower body. His weaknesses. Arm length is below average. Oh, never mind. What? Oh, I know what they're talking about. They're not talking about his muscles. They're talking about, like, wingspan. Lacks length and side quickness. I don't know how he lacks length. He's fucking 6'5", but okay. To pass protect as an NFL tackle. Plays with stiffness in knees and hips. Straight-legged pass sets get him bounced back into pocket. Could struggle with pad level for running game as NFL guard. Reaches and cutoffs have high failure rate. Movement and adjustments are heavy and stiff in space. Unable to consistently sustain due to lack of length and bend. Strong, but power base is not very wide. I'll be honest, on a lot of those things, I don't know what they mean. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, I see potential in Throckmorton. He just needs to work on his lower half and be less slow. And not slow, just gain some strength and just be better on he needs better footwork, he needs more strength there. But I think the potential is there for Calvin Throckmorton. Alright guys, that is going to wrap up today's video. I'm going to go eat breakfast since I just woke up and am very, very tired. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know who you think who's more likely so far to make the final roster. And if you enjoyed, hit that sub button, because I think like 12% of you who are watching are subscribed. And until next time, guys, peace.